on the commercial.
Seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Seconds and
always do that. All right, guys. Good afternoon. Good evening. It is Friday night. This is Detect America Live, and we have a packed house here tonight. And with us is Joe DeMarco, Drew Aholic, Gene Hogan.
Hey.
We got Beach Pirates, and joining us tonight we have Gary Schafer, okay, General Manager, Minelab Consumer Products Worldwide. Did I get that right?
Close enough.
All right.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
You'll know I never get it exactly right, but I come close. So we are big night tonight. We always love when we have Gary on. Gary's a font of information when it comes to metal detecting in general and specifically Minelab. It's generally our best shows. So, Gary, we are glad to have you here tonight, and we got lots to talk about. I can't wait to get into it.
I'm glad to be here, guys. Thanks.
Thank you for being here with us. So, before we get started, anything?
Whole lot of stuff to talk about tonight.
Yeah, a whole lot. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into it, guys. Stay tuned. We've got some good stuff to give away. We got a few Minelab products to give out tonight, and we're giving away a Lesh Samson Mini in addition to the $10 CSA note from the drawing from the Tuesday night TNL show. So let's jump on. Where are we jumping on, Joe?
Gary, would you like to first open it up with the new product that you brought out last week?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks, Joe. So I think probably a lot of people on the call and have seen around the world, hopefully anyway. Otherwise, our marketing information isn't spreading very quickly. But we launched a product the second week of February called the GPZ7000, which is actually a new technology in gold detection. Using the ZVT technology, which is different from anything ever used before. It's a brand new gold detection technology and something created by Bruce Candy that he's been working on for a long time now. And we launched it officially at our partner conference in New Orleans in the first week of June, which Joe was at, first week of February, which Joe was at. And I will tell you, it's been taking the world by storm over the last 7 to 10 days. It's an amazing machine. We've already had some incredible nugget stories, and so as soon as Monday, you'll see some stories start to bubble up through the press releases on nuggets that have been found already with the GPZ7000. It's been out there for about a week. Outstanding. We couldn't be happier with the launch.
I know that the first however many came in are already sold out. Is that true?
Yeah, we're in the backorder state in the United States and in Australia, actually North America and Australia. And even in the European market, which isn't a big gold market, we're already shorthanded on machines as well. So we do have another shipment coming in next week and then the following week as well. So we're actually into normal production over the next 2 to 3 weeks here. But the uptake, Joe, has been incredible. And I think the neat thing about it is the ease of use of the machine and the success people are having right out of the box is pretty incredible. You can be detecting with this machine in about 4 or 5 minutes. That's how quick it is to put together. You assembled one at the partner conference, and I think what we've done with this machine is really focused on increasing the power of gold detection. Obviously, we need more depth. We need better performance, better and better performance as we go in mineralized soils. That's where gold is found. But we also need to make sure that people can use the machines and that it becomes less and less complex, even with more and more power. So I think we made good strides on that with the GPZ, and I'm telling you, it's been incredibly popular. And even across the U.S., we're seeing a lot of interest on the East Coast for some deep artifact hunting, Civil War work, and as everybody knows, there's highly mineralized soils where a lot of the relics and Civil War replicas are found as well.
Right. I noticed straight off that the weight, along with the ease of use of the menu system, compared to the GPX series where you had a lot of timings that you had to deal with, this machine it just seems to be that much easier to use.
Yeah, and I think, Joe, what we've done is we've actually built the timings into the entire menuing system. And so really what you have to choose is the gold mode, whether you want high yield, which will find all the small stuff, really, really sensitive, all the way to extra deep, which will go very deep in highly mineralized soil and find the really big nuggets and really separate the soil a lot. And then match that with 3 ground types, which would be normal, difficult, and severe. Basically, there's only been one situation where I've ever seen anybody have to use severe, because the difficult default setting is pretty covers pretty much every amount of soil you can find on the planet. But I think all the timing that we used to have in the past, the 8 different timings, and make sure that's matching up with that, it's difficult to know exactly what kind of soil you're in. And so we built a lot of that into the automatic detecting and really built into the ground type and the gold mold and the ground type, the different types of automatic settings that you would have to kind of manually set in the past. You can still tweak it and still set up the system with some manual settings. However, the whole concept of timing has kind of gone away with the invention of the GPZ7000, because we build that in with, hey, tell us what kind of ground you're on. Is it mineralized, or is it normal, or is it very extreme? And then what are you going for? The smallest targets you can find, or the greatest depth you can find, and set that up, and the machine will adjust pretty easily and pretty quickly to that. And then the balance of the machine is really critical because it's built off of the CTX platform. And with a large standard coil, the 14-inch coil on there, and the battery pack is a little bit larger than the CTX, so the balance is pretty good. But we do include a pro swing in the box, as well as a detecting arm to make the detection quite a bit easier as well. So it really makes it a weightless machine when you're out there detecting. And again, it's difficult to build power into a machine to gain more depth and make it lighter and lighter. But what our engineers have been working on a lot is the balance, just to make sure we keep the balance right, because no matter what, even if it's, a kilogram, if you're out detecting for hours, your arm's still going to get a bit stiff. We're working on making sure the balance is right and that we have the right kind of harnesses and accessories to make it fairly weightless when you're detecting. Because as we all know, prospectors and relic hunters are out there for hours and hours and hours looking for their treasures.
So, Gary, one of the questions that keeps coming up to me, and it's from our techies, and every time a new product comes out, they're all about the guts.
Yep.
Is this machine, is the GPZ pulse induction, VLF, or is it something different?
It's something totally different. It's a brand new invention that Bruce has been working on for about 12 years in his lab, and I've actually seen some prototypes of it over the years. But what he's done is actually built a brand new technology that you can think of it as kind of a combination, but it's really taking a brand new technology called zero voltage transmission that does drive higher frequency that PI machines will never get, with greater power that a VLF machine will never get. And so you've actually got built in, he's figured out how to drive the magnetic impulses that are going through the sand and the soils and the grounds to really drive high sensitivity, certainly composted with the new coil design that Bruce has designed as well, that goes into the GPZ machine, and then using that power to create with this 14-inch coil, you can find nuggets as small as you're going to find with the SDC, and even smaller in some situations, which has previously been something that was very difficult or impossible to do it with what you would call a regular PI machine. So this is a brand new technology that has been working on for quite some time. And if you think of pulse induction technology, it's been out for quite a while. There's some very good pulse induction machines out there, very good pulse induction technology. But that's, I would say, at the end of the technology spectrum, if you will. DVT is a brand new technology that is just at the beginning, and this is something that trumps any technology we've produced before. And I think when I look at the horizon, I've had a conversation with Bruce, the place we can take this is a place we've never been before, from a depth and a sensitivity perspective over time. So I think we've got a brand new animal that we're looking at here, and frankly, it's going to end up being, at some point, how deep can you dig to find those targets? Because we're getting to that spot already with the DVT.
Well, I know with the general technologies of metal detectors, and I'm familiar with like ground penetrating radar. I know generally we've always been used to the lower the frequency, the better penetration that we've gotten. So this new technology is now driving a higher frequency, which is always better for detail. We're driving a higher frequency into the ground?
Yeah, the amount of voltage actually going into the ground, it's constant high power magnetic fields that are being shot into the ground with this machine. And so the frequencies are all over the board. So I can't say that it's one specific frequency set, but it is multiple pulses and multiple magnetic fields that are actually driving in the ground at all times with the DVT. And the thing about this technology is the response rate, like the transmit and receive rate, are constant. So it happens all at the same time. And so the speed at which it detects is something that you'll notice when you use the machine is pretty incredible as well, compared to anything that you've used in the past from Minelab anyway.
Well, also I noticed something. Minelab has never gone into any kind of detail about depth on the machine. But when they step out and say that this machine will go 40% deeper than their previous top-of-the-line machine, that's really stepping out there.
Yeah, it sure is. And certainly, we've all seen that the forums and everything have been on fire. But essentially, Joe, we've had tests that, I mean, 40% is actually fairly conservative when you look across the board. And it was difficult for us to kind of hold back a little bit, because we think the success you'll find, and I'm excited to see how this performs. And we've got a few people that are going out into the Culpeper fields in the areas in Virginia on various targets. I'm very excited to see how this performs in those soils, whether they be benign soils, which actually would be better performance than highly mineralized, because I think we've seen great success with the GPX family, an outstanding family of detectors. The GPZ will trump that, and the depth that you'll find on ferrous, I think, will be even greater than that 40% show. But you're right. We did take a step to say, hey, we think that there's something here that everybody's going to want to get their hands on, and rather than holding back and being bashful, I guess, to trumpet it, we're saying, hey guys, you're going to see great performance improvement on this thing. And this is just with the stock coil. We've got a couple more coils in production right now that will help with sensitivity and with depth, even beyond what the stock coil is today. So when you look at all those things built together, I think that we really built an animal that can basically, you're not going to have to carry on multiple gold machines to go prospecting, basically.
Right. Also, you look at the machine, you see a wireless unit. Now I know about this. What is the difference between or why did you have to go with a different WM12 on this versus the WM10?
Yeah, the primary difference is the number of receivers that you can have. You can actually have, with the WM12, you can actually have multiple multiple receivers attached. So as an example, Joe, you go and do a lot of training, you can actually have everybody connect to the wireless module through their headphones and actually hear all the same signals that you're driving. Or you can put two WM12s or two speakers on your shoulders and have detection in stereo if you want to. The WM10 has a single connection. The WM12, we've already had 12 different receivers connected to it through the WM12. So on the receiving side, that's the only reason that we really did it. We took the chance to say, hey, we want multiple speakers attached to the same system at times, and it just gives people that flexibility if they want it.
Gary, what is, if any, that you say, I know it's becoming popular on the East Coast, how is the response of this machine to standard metal detecting? Someone who's out digging relics, even beach digging, is this applicable to those scenarios?
Yeah, it'll work for anybody, and it's very easy to use. I mean, if you use the CTX, this is actually, the menuing system is actually even easier on the GPZ. It will apply to anything, it'll find everything. The one big difference between our high-end coin and treasure machines is you can't build in the discrimination, so it's going to find everything. So, if you're detecting in areas that, were highly populated and going to have a lot of pull tabs and things like that, you're going to find everything. You'll find everything from the smallest little, earring back to, very large targets. And so sometimes, the prospectors in the gold market want to make sure we're not missing anything. And so the discrimination is not as important as on the coin and treasure machine. So that's the biggest difference between the two. So certainly this machine will pick up everything.
So if you're using the CTX and you're running an open screen and you're basically discerning between the different tones, that's how you're going to operate this machine. It's basically learning your numbers and learning the tones.
Exactly, and it's really tones because you're not going to get numbers on this.
Right.
It's not going to show up on the screen like it does on the CTX. It'll be the tones, the high and the low tones.
Right.
Right. It kind of has that warble like a GPX does.
Yeah, sure does. But it's been interesting, Drew. I mean, you asked that question, but it's been very interesting because the interest has even surprised me beyond the heavy-duty prospectors in the market. Our phones are ringing off the hooks. We're getting all kinds of emails every day. We had 2 or 3 people stop into the office in Chicago today looking specifically for this machine, and they're not prospectors. And so I think it's actually opened up the market beyond what we were even thinking at the time. And the interest, the fact that the day we got them in, we shipped out every single detector we had in Chicago, to me is pretty evident that this thing is pretty popular, and also something people have been waiting for quite some time, I think.
I know this is Frank, Gary. I know that a couple of the prospectors on our page had, they were in a rush to get them, and of course, obviously, like any machine, their concerns were, well, I hope it's worth the price tag, and every one of them has come back and basically their answer is wow. It's such a different machine in their hands, and even than the GPXs they were used to. The depth that they were getting is they're raving about it.
Well, that's awesome to hear. And frankly, when you look at the price of gold even today, what it actually equates to is just over 7 ounces of gold. And so if you're serious about it and you're afraid that, there might be something a few inches below what your GPX can hit or what your STC can hit, and if somebody's decided you with this GPZ machine prospecting at the same time, you're going to want one in your hand because they're going to find something you're not going to. And today, I've heard just great stories. People go out for 2 or 3 hours just to test it and come back with 12, 15 nuggets that they hadn't found before on areas that they have as their old patches. So we do think that, and we've already heard stories of where it's opening up old patches again, and that's really what the intention was.
Yeah,
finding the small nuggets and the deep stuff.
That's exactly what the feedback we've been getting. That they, the real test was going to be go back to these allegedly worked out sites, and they're pulling nuggets out of it now. I mean, they're saying it's just like going to a fresh site.
Well, we're hoping that our next accessory might be a backhoe, so there you go.
Yeah,
I'm just joking. There won't be one.
Drew, do you have a question?
Yeah, the machine itself, is it just a coil that's waterproof, or is the entire control housing waterproof as well?
That's a great question. So the entire thing is not submersible, so we wouldn't call it submersible, but we call it weatherproof. So the coil itself is waterproof and tested to 3 meters, so that's fine, no problem there. The machine itself, if you're detecting, let's say, on a river or something like that, you drop it, you pick it up and go, you're just fine. We don't want to rate it as submersible, though, because we haven't tested it as an underwater machine. And so what we don't want to do is go to the ocean and hold it underwater for 5-10 minutes, because that's not what it's been tested for. But it is weatherproof, which is better than water resistant, not quite as good as waterproof or submersible, but certainly if you drop it in water and pick it up right away and don't hold it under, it's going to be just fine. And just be careful with the unit, of course, but we haven't tracked any leakage even with those kind of drop tests and things like that. And then, so all we're saying to be safe is that the coil is fully submersible. The rest of it is just weatherproof.
Okay, yeah, because I was just flipping through the brochure, and it says that the coil's good up to about 3 feet or 1 meter.
Yeah.
Now, as far as durability, have you guys run many shock resistance tests on it to see what it can really hold up to?
Yeah, you should see, and I think Joe, you for sure have seen the one video we run on the shaft test. We jammed the shaft about 10,000 times against rock hard cliff sides, basically, and we do all kinds of drop tests. This thing is an incredibly durable machine, and there's a lot of things as well. As you look at the design, the second or third time around, going through the CTX housing, there's a lot of things we've learned about the strength of the CTX that we've built into this machine as well. So it's very durable. I'm very impressed with just the look, feel, the sleekness of the machine, and it's massively durable. And the good part is, too, we build a lot of countermine equipment that has to be mil spec, and so we've got the same engineers doing that work, which is good.
That's a lot of information in a short period of time.
I know. I'm dying to put my hands on one of these things.
Maybe we could split the cost.
You need to get one.
Everybody gets it a day out of the week.
Would you be willing to take my firstborn child in trade?
Well, my firstborn's going to leave for college, so I could take one.
So you've got room for one.
He's 15. He's potty trained already. He doesn't use the newspaper anymore. So
much.
Now, you've published some of the success stories. Have you heard any more from those that are in the field utilizing it? Who were your testers? Who maybe have more time?
I have, but I can't tell you yet. But there's a couple that are going to come out in the next 7 to 10 days. Actually, in the next 3 to 7 days, that you guys will be massively excited for. There have been some great finds even in the first few days of having this thing on the market. It's already been pretty amazing.
Well, I'm just flipping through the brochure here, and the one guy on one of the test reports says he found a 2.5 ounce nugget at over 2.5 feet.
Yeah.
And a GPX7000 with a 20-inch monoloop couldn't even touch it.
Yep. Wow. And that was also because it's a good point. That was also because of the construction of the gold. It was a very not very dense, and some of the not very dense gold other detectors have a really hard time finding. And if you call it like the sponge type gold, that's pretty porous. The GPX eats that stuff up. It's pretty amazing. And then, we do have a larger coil and a smaller coil that are in the works right now. Think about when you get a big coil on this thing, the depth you're going to get is just going to be pretty incredible because that DOD or Super D construction actually doesn't take away the sensitivity by giving you more depth in that coil. So it's pretty amazing. These stories are, and Steve was actually at our partner conference, Steve Hirschbach, who's in the middle of the brochure there too, one of our other testers. And, the guy is a professional. He is very, I call him a realist. He tells you the way it is. And I'm telling you, Joe, I had to ask him to get off the stage when he was talking because he was so excited about how he was using this machine. And it just ran out of time with all the stories he was telling. So I do think that people are finding success with this, that, they simply can go back to the areas that they were before first and then go find new stuff. That's pretty exciting.
Right, and I think that you kind of had to pry one out of his hands, getting the machine back, didn't you?
I did.
Now, I just saw one other question come across the chat. Does it come with any kind of harness?
Yes.
It does come with the harness?
It comes with the comes with actually a couple of things. It comes with the Pro Swing. And it also comes with the guide arm to help to move it back and forth. It actually helps free up, making it easier to swing instead of swinging the weight with one arm.
Okay.
Exactly.
I was actually surprised at how easily it went together and the durability of it. Like I said, the user menus being so easy to just to set up the balance and you're detected. Instead of having to kind of do your swing around, find your interference, and get rid of your interference, and then you can detect. It's a much simpler process and much easier to use.
Yeah, the startup process, there's basically 6 steps to it, and it's all really, it walks you right through it on the screen. Our engineers have done a great job of making it very, very user-friendly. And Joe, as you were saying, in your role, you train people to use machines and use equipment, and I think getting them up detecting quickly with this type of machine is going to be really easy to do.
Right. You want to explain the exchange software, because I know that a lot of people, one of the first things that they were asking me was, it has exchange software. Will my CTX be affected because I already have exchange software on my laptop or my computer? How is that going to work with it?
Yep, it's a great question. So what the Exchange 2 software will do is actually create 2 different folders. One for the CTX one that you have is going to be just fine. None of the data will be affected. And on the system, it actually creates, when you synchronize, it creates a GPZ folder as well. So all your fine points, all your waypoints will be stored on the GPZ side as well, and you can integrate that with Google. And and basically see the fine points and waypoints together with one exchange database on your system. It's just going to separate the two as two different folders on the system. Very, very sleek, very, very cool. Doesn't affect anything that you have already with the CTX.
That was another question that you kind of just answered. So the GPZ is fully functional with the GPS, the mapping, and all that.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Everything. It's very. I mean, it's really the same software and the same integration as we have with the CTX. So if you're familiar with that, it's all capable on the GPZ. Or the Z, as people are now calling it, the Z. We might have to call it that as a nickname.
or the Z if you're at the other end of the world.
Yeah, down under it's the Z. Actually, in Europe, I guess too.
You know, I just want to quote this part of Steve Hirschbach's thing in the brochure because this is pretty intense. He says, "I have not found that many large chunks of gold that fast in very many years. 1.6 ounces of gold in less than 3 hours. Wow. That's a lot of gold.
Yeah.
That's a lot of gold in 3 hours. The GPZ was able to detect fine specimen gold at depths far exceeding what one of the best hot VLF detectors could attain in this soil. I mean, that is ridiculous. That's
and the cool thing about Steve too, one of the primary places he detects is in northern Nevada, up around Reno. And if you look at like even Jerry McMullen's videos, he's got a couple of them on YouTube now. That part of the country has been detected a lot, and those guys are out there finding legitimate specimens of gold that have been walked over and walked past, after years of detecting. And so that's the kind of conversation we were having with Steve on the stage. And I'm telling you, he said, "Hey, I mean, you can say what you want to say, but when I go out, I want to have this machine in my hand, not any other machine that I've had before, because I'm just afraid I'm going to miss something if I don't have it." And I think that's really the message. It's the technology built into this, everything that we've learned over the last 30 years, the ability to find large and small gold. Frankly, if you're out there really finding treasure and doing it seriously, the risk is not having one of them in your hands, honestly. So.
Right. Well, Gary, we're going to step to the side for a minute and do a giveaway.
Perfect.
So I'm gonna try not to hang up on you, but if for some reason, because we do get crazy here once they start calling in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can place you on hold here while these drawings come in. Or you can actually just stand there or just stay in and listen while this goes on.
Yeah. Worst case scenario is if you get cut off.
I can put my phone on mute as well, and if I hang up, I have the number I can dial right back in.
Beautiful.
All right.
Okay, guys, so we are going to do our first giveaway of the night, and we are in Minelab mode tonight, obviously. So we have a Minelab hat. Let's do the Minelab hat and a Minelab nail fine pouch. Beautiful.
All right, you ready?
And we're going to do 10 callers and 856-899-5180. Drew is diligently waiting for your information to come in.
With bated breath.
All right, lines are open, guys. Call in.
301, who we got?
Arlene Carter.
319, who we got?
This is Paul Barkett from Iowa. And I'm just coming in to get some.
All right, Paul.
662, who we got?
Steve in Mississippi.
All right, Steve.
856, who we got?
Jay Bird.
Jay Cook. 814, who we got?
Wendy Davis, Emporium.
Hey, Wendy.
919, who we got?
Hey, it's Matt from North Carolina.
All right.
709, who we got?
Fernando in Newfoundland.
I'm still amazed at the call comes in from Newfoundland.
703, who we got?
Troy from Virginia.
All right. 2 more. 512, who we got?
Ali in Texas.
All right, Ali.
And 937 is our last caller.
David Myers from Ohio.
Hey, Dave. All right, bud.
All right, so let's clear the lines.
Okay.
All right. Let's see if we can get Gary back here. Yep, when I get to it. And that one is going to Matt in North Carolina.
All right, congratulations, Matt. You got yourself a Minelab hat and a Minelab big pouch. PM your information to Drew-aholic. And if you have to, you can PM it to me. But PM it to Drew-aholic, and we'll get it out to you ASAP. Now.
All right, Gary, moving on.
Yes, sir.
You want to run the video?
Now for the exciting stuff, right?
let me tell you, Gary. Let me tell you that without saying a word to the world, this information has seeped into the infrastructure of the metal detecting community and have been ringing our phones and our pages, and it's very, very exciting stuff.
Well, this would be, you guys should be very proud too, because Joe and I were talking a couple weeks ago, and we picked Detect America to be the first place where we publicly say anything about this detector.
And we are thrilled.
It's coming up.
We are
It should be exciting. I've got chills right now.
You want us to run the video we have first?
Why don't you run the video, Joe? Absolutely.
We've got chills too, Gary, but it's also 12 degrees here. All right, so we're going to run a quick. We're going to run a quick little video here, guys. So stay tuned. Let me switch the screen over. All right, guys. Well, you saw it. You saw it. And we've been biting our tongues because this thing is this is exciting stuff. So go ahead, Gary. Tell us about it.
Well, I will say that there has been a few things that we've strategically let leak out a bit about this machine. By now, lots of people have checked lots of different areas, and I will officially announce on this show and all of our channel around the world received documentation today, materials today, the brochures and things today. And so officially, I will let you know that the next series of metal detectors that Minelab is working on for release, called the Go Find series. And you saw the quick video there of the Go Find series, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But it is really a series that is focused on a brand new market for Minelab that is really what I would call the economical buy market, or the low-cost type market. So the range of this detector, there'll be 3 in the family. They'll range from about $179 US to $309 from a retail perspective. And let me just make a very strong point. Low cost to Minelab does not mean low quality. And we've been working on this project for just about 5 years now. And when you actually get this machine in your hands and feel it and play with it, and Joe's got one that I can see, and play with it a little bit, what you'll see is, feel is the quality of the machine and the quality of the equipment. And we did we rolled this out to our dealers as well at the global conference in the first week of February. And I will tell you, the energy in the room, and Joe, you can attest to this, but the energy in the room was just through the roof. It was out the building because the quality, the backlight, the ease of use, you'll be detecting with this thing in about 30 seconds once you pull it out of the box. And the technology that we've used is based off of what we use for Xterra, the V-Flex technology. And so, you know, the depth and the quality, the clarity of the sound, the way you can discriminate, for a machine in this category, low cost for Minelab does not mean low quality, and that's going to drive this market, I think, to levels that we've never seen before. It's pretty amazing.
All I know is that if I had this thing when I went on my honeymoon, it would have been in my pack instead of having to pack up everything in a Pelican case and then go through customs and worry about this. The size alone is just astounding, let alone what this thing can do. And trust me, we got a million questions about it, but
well,
wow.
While you're doing that, I'm going to unfold it.
Okay.
Go ahead,
So here's the question I have, Gary, is about this the ground balancing, this automatic balancing.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to allow a single frequency machine into the mineralized ground. In our situation, the biggest deal is into the salt water, the beach areas where we always have had trouble with single frequency machines.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. We've already had testers using it, and they are blown away by the technology that we call auto tracking. Essentially, it takes away the necessity to manually ground balance at all. When you look at the when you look at the technology and you look at the way we built it in, it's the same technology that we've expanded on from the Xterra 705, and there's no need to. You can't even manually ground balance the thing. It's automatic balancing and tracking all by itself, and you lose very little sensitivity going from dry sand to wet sand in highly mineralized and highly silica saltwater type soil. So you keep in mind, we test this thing all over Australia. We test it up and down the East Coast and the West Coast. The toughest sand beaches and saltwater beaches you can find, this thing has been tested on. And some of the best detectorists in the world have told us this thing is amazing. I see other machines in this price range blow up. As a matter of fact, that's the other machines in bigger price ranges blow up and can't go from dry to wet sand. So I'm very excited about the auto tracking. What people have built in, what our engineers have built into this machine from a technology standpoint to make it so easy to use and so powerful is unbelievable. You know, if anybody ever doubted it, I've been at the company now just over 5 years, and the focus and talent that we have in our engineering group is unbelievable. And I think people will see that in this machine. It's high quality, it's affordable, and it's the easiest machine that you will ever use. I can guarantee that.
I'm seeing several questions come across the chat.
Yep.
One of the questions is one, is it waterproof?
Yep, good question. It isn't waterproof all the way through. The coil is tested at 2 feet. So the coil is fully submersible, but the control box itself is not waterproof. And you put the AA batteries right on the back of the shaft there. And so, you know, you certainly wouldn't want to get that wet. So as long as you don't get the control pack wet, you can, you know, get the coil into the water up to about 2 feet. It'll be just fine.
Okay. Now, does that take standard AA batteries, or is there a rechargeable pack for that as well?
We don't have rechargeable packs for us, just a standard AA. You can certainly use rechargeable. We would recommend non-rechargeable, but you certainly can use rechargeable batteries as well. Okay. You don't see any drop-off of the performance of the machine. You know, like with a rechargeable battery, the machine was still functioning at full power, but, you know, as rechargeables get recharged and recharged, they just lose power. You would lose time in number of hours you can use the machine out there with rechargeables. Now,
the technology that's in the machine, how different is that from the Xterra series?
Great question. It's a little bit different. So we've added a little bit of engineering to it, but it is based on the V-Flex technology, so it's very, very similar. So what you'll find in, you know, 305, 505, 705, more around the 305 family, that's really what we built the technology off of. The biggest work was done into the auto tracking and making the technology even easier to use. So even when you hear the beeps, you're going to have the different tonations. So lower beeps for less pure or more ferrous metals, and higher beeps for more non-ferrous metals.
Okay.
And one of my coolest, I'm sorry to interrupt, guys. Was there another question? Because I was going to tell you what I'm really excited about.
No, go ahead, Gary.
I'm getting pounded. I'm watching the chat.
We got 4 computers going here. They're just rolling with questions.
Yeah,
so go ahead.
and I'm watching the chat, and they're just pounding with questions.
Yep. So when you look at, there's something on there called the find button. That's the big thing that looks like a magnifying glass, the red button in the middle there.
Right.
There's basically, on the 60, there's 4 different find modes, 3 on the 40, and 2 on the 20. But those find modes are so, they're engineered so tightly that we actually can map, I would say the modern coins around the world in the major markets for the last 50 years have been mapped to a specific one of those find modes. And so very similar, if you ever use this Safari, we've got the find modes on there. You simply just choose your mode, and that'll automatically discriminate for you and find the rings and the coins in that bucket. And the technology behind how we map those coins is just amazing. And so the higher quality, higher value coins are generally going to be on the far right. They're going to get a higher signal for it. But if Joe is swinging coins and things in front of that coil there at Detect America, you'll see the different buttons actually, the different find mode buttons actually blink as you get a different coin, or you get junk, or you get aluminum, or whatever it is around there. So it does discriminate very well. It just makes it really easy for you to set it up and block things out that you don't want to actually hear. It's really, really cool. And we've worked hard to make the pictures universal. You won't find any words on the thing. And so you don't need to try to figure out what one word that we use in Australia means, because it's just a picture. It's really, really cool.
Now, one of the things that I've heard, and I know it's different from the 3 different models of this machine, but tell us a little bit about this Bluetooth technology that's going to hook up to an app on your smartphone.
That is a great lead-in. It's the world's only smartphone integrated metal detector. And so a long time ago, my oldest daughter, when I was telling her what I was doing, this is probably 4 years ago, she said, "Dad, when I can text with my friends, talk to me, because then I'll be interested." And I threw that past our engineering manager, and he just started laughing. But as we were working on this machine, we thought, hey, you know what? Smartphone integration would be really, really cool. So on the 40 and the 60, which are the 2 higher-end models of this, there's actually Bluetooth integration built in, where there's going to be different smartphone apps. And the Smartphone Pro app will have more apps on the 60 than on the 40, but you can always upgrade the 40 to the Smartphone Pro apps as well. And there'll be things in there like identifying your coins that you detect, automatically posting things, or press a button, you can post things to Facebook. You can map the GPS mapping and Google Maps on there. And it's really, really cool, because on the 60, you can save up to 1,000 find points on your smartphone with the Google Maps that are built in and the GPS mapping. There'll be tonation built in. So at some point, not sure how all the apps are going to be written, but at some point I have plans to build in an app that you can choose your own tone. So maybe it's like a cash register when you get the right kind of coin, that kind of thing, that beep, which is kind of cool and kind of fun. We also have a capability for third parties. So there'll be, these will just be downloaded from iTunes and in the Google store. So there are third parties that have already been talking to us about writing different apps for this machine as well. So it really opens up the world. So frankly, with the 60, you can even control the volume and the sensitivity and the control pad features right off of your smartphone with the metal detector. You don't even need the control pad on the metal detector itself. You can just on your smartphone. So the integration is going to be really cool. And I think it opens up a brand new market for us that really will drive interest and participation from families and children and younger people around the world, which is what we're trying to do with this thing.
Well, I already discussed it, and the smartphone app, it just blew me away. I think that is the coolest thing. So as this thing starts rolling out, and I'm sure it's going to take all about 10 seconds for it to become popular, we're going to put up on our Detect America pages, we're going to put up a Detect America Go Find page. So if these guys are out in the field and they're using this thing and they're texting or they're sending info to Facebook or wherever it's going to go, we're going to have a page just for that. And like we try to put a family, we have families of people that are kind of loyal to their metal detector. We're going to have a whole page just for the guys out there transmitting data from their Go finds.
And I'll tell you what, I'll tell you what, I'm truly loyal to my E-Track. These guys know I'm a diehard E-Track guy. I can't even bring myself to go with the CTX, even though I've seen it perform. But you know, I'm pretty excited about this one myself.
I'm just not going to tell my CTX that I'm getting one. I don't want it to be jealous.
He didn't even tell you the price of it yet.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Yes, actually, there were a couple other questions that came through. Now, as far as the headphones, it looks like it has a headphone jack, but does it also allow for the wireless headphones?
Yeah, not wireless. It does have a speaker on the back, but not wireless. I suppose. I don't know how the phone app will work. I don't know if there will be an audio app, but I suppose you could do, you know, your headphones through your cell phone possibly. But there is no wireless built into this at all. It's just the Bluetooth integration. And it is a 1/8 jack, so it's the regular earbuds that you'd use for your cell phone and things like that everybody has in their back pocket anyway.
Now, I mean, there are there's literally a ton of questions coming in over the chat on live stream right now, but pretty much, I mean, there'll be more details available through Minelab.com and through the information that you guys put out. The huge question is, when will it be available?
Great question, and let me just give you the schedule real quick. So as I said, just today, so we announced it at our partner conference early February. We've shared a little bit more information with our dealers across the world, and anybody that was at the conference, you can see the one that Joe has there. Our partners actually have the Go Find 40 in a limited version. It's not completely done, obviously, because it's still in production, but it's good enough that he can show people what it looks like and what it feels like. Starting next week, so by the end of next week, you'll see a section on the Minelab website. That'll be the Go Find section, where we're going to start at least every week releasing more and more information to the public. And as we do that, our partners and distributors and dealers online will be able to start releasing information as well. And when you look at the time frame, we expect it to be on shelves in May 2015. So I'm not going to give you a specific date in May yet, but we're not far away from having it on the shelves for the public. And so what we're trying to do is make sure we hit, that late spring, early summer time frame to get people out detecting this summer.
Joe's already upset.
May 2015 is our target.
Joe's already upset, Gary, because right around May 1st, we'll all start to text him and call him every day, hour on the hour, to see if he got it in yet.
That's fine with me. Get those calls coming. And that's the first time I've ever said anything that bold on any public station as well either. So you guys have had a couple first tonight.
Something I didn't hear you mention is that these are not buttons that you actually have to push. You can just put your finger or thumb over it and it changes.
That's right. That's right. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the technology built in, and I for the life of me can't remember the exact technology, but they're sensitive. So when you look at the buttons, if you're familiar with like an E-Track or an Xterra, those keypads are really kind of cool. This one is amazingly cool. And the sensitivity, just if you get close to the plus to increase the volume, you're going to see the volume go up. And it's very, very sensitive, very cognitive to your touch and feel.
So it's almost like a touch screen.
Brilliant. It's an amazing keypad for a $179 machine.
That's amazing.
So the keypad itself is almost like say like a touch screen on a phone.
Yeah. Exactly. And the other thing that's one of the things that I think is very cool, you'll see it on the 40 there, sitting on the table in front of you, is right on the top there are LEDs that are treasure view LEDs. And what we've also done, based on how we can identify what you're detecting, if it's ferrous or something that some people would call junk or something they might not want to dig, those LEDs will actually light up in red. And when it's green, it's going to be something that we consider, like a ring or gold or a non-ferrous type target that you want to dig. But it also is used in pinpointing. And so as you pinpoint to the center of the coil, those LEDs will get, when all 5 of them are lit, you're going to be right over top of the target. And when they're not all lit as they come in from the outside, you're further away from the target. So it helps to pinpoint a lot. And the other thing that's very impressive about this machine, everybody's gotten feedback on, swing low and swing slow with your E-Track and CTX, and certainly, the response rates, and you find so many good things when you're taking care and going slowly. Certainly you want to do it with this machine too, but the response time is just brilliant. You'll see very, very quick response times with this machine that you've never seen certainly from a Minelab machine in the past. It's amazing.
And that's a big, big deal, especially you're talking about basically Minelab's, I hate to use the word, but an entry-level machine, but the characteristics, the thing that this thing has to offer at the price point that this thing's coming out as is mind-boggling. I got to tell you, the features are amazing on it. It's great to look at, and it folds up into next to nothing. It's a real exciting machine to be out there. There's definitely going to be one in my truck. Ain't no doubt about that.
It's right in the back.
And I'll tell you guys, it answers the question for getting something for your child because it's a telescoping shaft, and so you can use the same machine. For a guy that's 6'7" or a guy that's 4 foot, they can use the same exact detector. It's pretty cool.
And so they can grow into.
I'll give you a term for the touchpad is actually called capacitive touch. That's the technical term for it. So we'll be exploiting that at some point.
And it's not something that you're going to buy for your kid, and then next year we got to get rid of it, get a better machine. This machine is pretty amazing. As a metal detector, it's got tons of great features. This will take you to the next level, absolutely. And I mean, your next machine will probably be in the CTX C-Track type vein, absolutely. That's no doubt about it. Very, very.
But I don't care if you buy that 705 in between them. That's fine with me too.
But yeah, I mean, it's been fun to play with. I mean, our ground's been frozen, but I can tell you, I've been doing a lot of playing with it. I've got my kids actually unfolding it to see how fast they can do it between each other to see who can do it faster.
And just for the guys on the page, I know, running the show the way we are with the webcam and everything, we're going to take a few pictures of it so you can get a better look at it up on the page. I got to tell you guys, I'm real excited about this machine.
And as you get ready for it and look for it on the Minelab.com site. By the end of next week, you'll be able to see pictures of it. There'll be we're trying to make sure the brochure is downloadable by next week, and then within the next few weeks, our dealers and partners will be able to publish prices and things like that on their websites too. So it'll be pretty exciting.
That's
very exciting.
Fantastic. I know we've been like busting at the seams, but trying to keep this thing quiet.
We'll talk about it. You just can't post anything yet until we post it first.
No problem.
No problem. Well, that's why I kind of did some things with the video the way I did it, so that nobody could cut it open and take pieces out of it without us knowing where it came from.
That's right. Awesome. And thank you for doing that, Joe. I appreciate that.
Not a problem. We want to thank you for the opportunity to release this information on our show.
Absolutely. Thanks for the invitation. I appreciate it.
Oh, anytime, Gary. You know that.
You bet.
What else can we expect from you this year, Gary? I mean,
okay. I will say this. I have one recurring question that keeps coming up. I don't even know if it's in the pipe or not yet. But I have several guys that are avid CTX fans that are asking over and over again: is there a longer or an additional shaft piece to make this thing a little bit longer for taller guys?
Yeah, great question. Right now, that's not in the works, but I certainly will take that feedback. I know that our engineering manager is listening tonight as well in Australia, and we'll certainly take that feedback. That's great feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, our guys. We feel bad for some of our tall guys that are bent over. They won't give up the CTX. They just want to know if they can make it a little longer.
Exactly. Yeah, it's good feedback because I've seen that a couple times myself. Fortunately for me, I guess I'm fortunate in this way. I'm only 5'10", so that's not a big deal for me. But the big guys sometimes have some challenges with it.
Oh yeah, I got a short in mine. I'm short, so it works for me. But we are just like overwhelmed here, and we got to go back to the page and deal with everybody who's going to ask 10 million questions, and we're going to refer them right to Minelab.com.
Well, I mean, I can answer a lot of the questions.
Yeah,
you can, Joe.
So I'll be on the page most of the night tonight.
Well, thank you.
to see what, this is actually a kind of revolutionary machine for me in that Minelab has never stepped into this area of the market. It's something that many of us as dealers have been requesting for a decade.
So does that mean we're going to have to wait a decade for the long shaft for the tall guys?
Well, you know, the coolest thing is, and kudos to Minelab, and I got to say it. We've seen over the years other metal detecting companies, you know, intro an entry level machine, and you know, it was always something that you were going to kind of learn the ins and outs, and then go on to your next machine. This is a real metal detector. This thing is a real machine. It's going to find you real targets, and you can grow with this machine. It's not something you're going to have to put in the closet in a year. This is a real machine.
It's not a toy. It gets great.
Yeah. And I think that's the point. I mean, we actually did a lot of research for quite some time, and you know, certainly I think, and Joe, you're right. I mean, getting into this market is not something that is a trivial decision. But deciding to build it from the ground up, I think, was the best decision that we've made, because when you look at, you have to design for this type of a market. And some of the things that are really easy to use are difficult to engineer, and it takes some time, because some of the most easy things to do are very complicated to figure out how to make them easy. And our engineers have done a bang-up job doing this. The other thing that I think is really important and really critical is there was a lot of the things in the design spec that didn't have anything to do with the technology. Like my number one was ease of use and ease of assembly. There's no assembly required for this thing. You pull it out of the box and you open it up, put the batteries in, and you go detecting. That's the truth. You'll be detecting in less than a minute, guaranteed. The second thing was to make the thing lightweight. It's 1 kilogram. This machine weighs 1 kilogram, even with the big coil on the top two machines.
Wow.
And the smaller coil on the bottom one is just under 1 kilogram. So when you look at that, and what we're trying to do is answer the question of getting everybody out there to detect. So if you're out there with your CTX, your child will find, or your wife, or whomever, or your buddy will find really good targets with this machine too. And it is a tool. It's a quality machine to use. And we've taken the time to make it affordable for everybody. So hopefully it's something that everybody's looking for.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to have a problem with
that. One last question that's probably come across about 7 or 8 times. The coils, are they, first of all, it looks like it's a concentric coil. Is that correct?
Did we lose him?
Yep, I'm still here, guys. Sorry, I'm still here.
Okay. Now, is that, number one, is it a concentric coil, or and number two, is the coil going to be interchangeable at all?
Yeah, great question. So there aren't any interchangeable coils right now in the plan, so great question, but they're not in the plan at this point. Secondly, it is a concentric coil, but that again is brand new technology as well. Our engineers have engineered this thing to take a lot of the weight out of concentric coils, and the way that we've wired it and the quality that this thing is built with is unbelievable. And I can't tell you all those things, but it's a brand new design and implementation of a concentric coil.
Okay.
It's just amazing, and the pinpoint is dead on as well. Right in the middle of the coil. So if you look at the middle of the coil between those two strands, right in the middle of that coil is where you're pinpointing to, and it's dead on every single time. Well, almost every time, 98% of the time.
Great, and I really wish we could cover every single question that's coming across the chat. And I'm trying to ask, we're trying to ask as many as we can. But you know, for the folks that I'm not getting to your question, please go to minelab.com and keep your eyes on their page, and
or hit Joe up. I mean, hit us up, and if you hit up Detect America or go to Joe's page, hit him up, and definitely we'll answer everything that we can answer.
Right.
And guys, if there are questions that come in that you want to compile, you can email them over to me as well, and we can get answers to them.
And I will not be putting this video up that we ran tonight. That is something that is for Detect America's running only.
So if you guys want to look at it, go to the archives, run the show.
Right. And then at the point where we are allowed to put the video up, then I'll put that video up on my Facebook page and some other places, and then you'll see that video. But for now, it's only going to be on the live site.
Beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be awesome.
I mean, there's a lot of, I see questions coming in. What is the frequency? What's the depth? You know, it's awesome.
Oh, yeah, and the tech guys are going to have a field day. We're going to go nuts with some of the tech questions that are going to come in just from this little bit from tonight. because everybody's going to want to know about
it. As you get those questions, if there's something that you can't answer, just compile them and put them together for me, and we'll be working on an FAQ document as well, and that'll help us a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Well, Gary, we'd like to thank you very much for coming on with us tonight. And as I told you, I thought this is going to be a machine that is really going to be talked about for several years to come. I mean, who would have thought a phone that ties in, or a machine that ties into a cell phone?
And it makes perfect sense. I mean, just the apps that he's talking about, being able to transmit to your phone and then have apps that may identify your coins. It's going to open up. So I mean, it's boundless. The apps that are probably going to come down the pike, especially if they're opening up the aftermarket apps. It's going to be amazing. There's some of the stuff that's going to be out there. It's a very, very exciting future.
Well, good, and we hope that it does. And thank you guys for all you do. Thanks for supporting the hobby and this industry. This is a great show, and I appreciate being on here. Thanks very much.
Thanks for coming on, Gary. We appreciate it.
You bet, guys. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
All right. We'll talk to you again sometime soon, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
You bet, guys. Call anytime. Bye-bye.
Thank you. A lot of information.
Wow.
There.
Wow. I've been busting at the seams. I'm so and just because and as everybody knows, we knows where we use Minelab. We're not trying to alienate any other machine, but from a metal detecting standpoint, just for the hobby alone, this is a game changer for so many people who want to enter into this hobby and start off with something that's easy to use and quality machine.
Well, this is the book that I had at the conference.
Right.
It has a lot of information about this machine. Now, there's a couple of things that I wrote even at the conference. When it came to this machine, one of the things I wrote, if you have felt left out because you couldn't afford a Minelab, now you can.
That's right.
With the Go Find.
There's 3 different models too.
There's 3 different price points.
Yeah. You can get into the hobby for your first machine at $179 and have a quality machine. And
that you can use on the beach.
And a quality machine that is, I mean, listen, it's got some of the features. Like I said, strip it down to its absolute basics. Mm-hmm. I take my machines out with me in the truck or anything, and you know what? I have to step away from the truck. There's only so many places you're hiding that machine out of view. Look at the size of this thing.
That is the 40.
That's the 40.
That's the metal.
What I like about this thing is so light.
Right.
It's small and compact. You can stick it
in a backpack. In the backpack. It absolutely would have been on my carry-on in Jamaica.
Yeah. Well, that's why I've been holding this machine for almost a month. And I've been chomping at the bit to show it to everybody, but you know.
And the questions that come on the page, as they always do, I'm just getting into it. What am I going to get? Recommend. Listen, guys, you have to stay tuned. Ask the questions. Keep an eye on Minelab.com. It's going to be a tough machine to beat. And like I said, I'm a CTX operator. I have several high-end machines, and I guarantee you, this machine is going to be in my possession. This machine is going to be in my truck.
Now, and don't let its looks fool you. Don't think that it looks like a toy, because it's not a toy. I mean,
it does look like the Starship Enterprise a little bit. But
rest in peace, Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, I know. Poor
What frequency is this thing running on? Anyway, I forget.
7.8 kilohertz.
Okay.
Like I said, I know some things about this. It weighs 2.4 pounds. Runs at 7.8 kilohertz.
Single frequency machine.
I mean, it's a
game changer. Without a doubt.
A single frequency machine you can take in the black sand and detect.
I'm sorry, 2.3 pounds.
Just and that's over a kilogram.
You know, and it's got auto sensing for the ground balance. So I mean, and I saw a video of from one of the testers who was going wet sand, dry sand down in the where the wash was. You know, you can't run it at its max sensitivity. Back down one, and it's wide.
And for those of you that aren't quite sure, there's a lot of newbies out there that are just getting into this hobby. If you're not quite sure what we're talking about, most of your single frequency machines, if you take them into highly mineralized areas, you'll have to ground balance it to get rid of a lot of the chatter or the signals that pop up because of the electromagnetic field that's changing under your coil. And then if you go to a new spot and you have a different type of concentration of metals or hot rocks or whatever, you'll have to ground balance it again. Same thing with the beach. As you go from the dry to the damp to the packed to the black, you're going to have to constantly be ground balancing your machine to get rid of that ancillary noise. This eliminates that. This is constantly, basically, it's constantly doing that for you. So there's no reason to ever, well, he said you can't ground balance it. There's no ground balance. It's constantly adjusting itself.
Nope, it's self-adjusting.
And a single frequency machine down in those conditions is just amazing. It's just unheard of.
You know, and not only that, not just for newcomers. I'm just watching these comments on the chat. You know, people with shoulder problems, people with carpal tunnel syndrome. This is going to be a nice lightweight machine that they can get out and use.
I take my truck out on the job, and a lot of times it's an old place that I'm going to for work. I like to throw the detector in the truck, and if I'm away from my detector, I know that CTX is sitting in the back seat someplace. I could carry it with me if I didn't want to leave the truck. It can get tucked and locked in, almost locked in a glove compartment, definitely locked in a toolbox. You can lock this thing away.
Hide it.
And easy to. And we just had one of our pirates,
Put it on your seat.
Yeah. One of our pirates just went through the hassle of, taking his machine like I did, take his machine on vacation with him. And, you're talking about the Pelican cases. You're talking about customs. Oh, you're carrying a rifle or it's a metal detector.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it goes in your carry-on.
Right.
And
it's a game changer.
Yeah, it's a whole new world. And I'm so excited about these apps.
And you know something? I honestly believe this is going to be a competitive piece of equipment compared to
I did too.
Compared to the garage machines.
You've seen the stuff, the kind of stuff that we pull out of the beach. And we know when we're down the beach, we're not looking for the bottle tops, we're not looking for the pull tabs. We're looking for the rings, we're looking for the coins. And even though it's not a 28 frequency machine,
right,
we all know we can find good stuff with single frequency machines. We find them all the time. Now, the beach and the Black Sea was just an area we pretty much couldn't take our single frequency machines to. You can. This thing is going to lock onto. It's going to lock on good targets. It's going to tell you, what to dig and what not to dig. I'm thrilled with this technology. This is going to be really cool. It's going to be a real fun summer.
This is a family show. I can't say what I
it's a machine that actually my kids are going to enjoy.
Now, pink, come out with a pink one. My wife might even take up detecting. It is.
Wow.
Little bling, Gary. Little bling. Some rhinestones.
Some pink paint.
All right, you know what, guys? Let's give something away. We give away one prize tonight, and we're already 12 minutes long.
What do we got?
So we're going to give away. You know what? Let's give away a Detect America patch.
You had something else over there you were going to give away tonight.
Make that the last one.
Okay.
Make that the last one. Stay tuned, guys. Last giveaway of the night is a Leshay Samson Mini. We're going to give away a 2015 Silver Eagle, and we're going to give away a Detect America patch. You know what? We're going to throw a Detect America water bottle in there with it. So, patch, Silver Eagle, and a water bottle. 856-899-5180. Lines are open.
All right. Here we go. 662, who we got?
Steve from Mississippi.
All right, Steve, you're in.
Right here.
512, who do we got?
Ali in Texas.
All right, Ali, you're in. 817, who do we have?
Wendy Sharp, Texas.
All right. 319, who do we got?
This is Paul Rocket. I hope I win. I love your show.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, from Iowa. Bye.
All right. 301, who do we got?
That's great.
Where's Carter, Cumberland?
301, who do we got?
Arlene Carter, Cumberland, Maryland.
856, who do we got?
Jay Bird.
Hey, Jay.
908, who do we got?
Donna from New Jersey.
This is the minnow,
856, who do we got?
Tony in Richland.
How many more we got?
One more.
One more? All right. 419, who we got?
Missy from Ohio.
All right, Missy from Ohio. All right, I'm going to clear the lines. Whoo! The lines blew up fast.
All right.
I guess for 80-some people on the chat, it should.
Okay, and then real quick, before I announce the winner of that, I want you guys to make sure that if you haven't had enough metal detecting shows, make sure you tune in tomorrow night to our friend Josh Kimmel on Beyond Sight and Sound at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on 1000 Mics. He's going to have special guests Josh and Abby Silva from Dig Wars on his show tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. The link is up on the Detect America group page, so please make sure you tune in, check it out. Josh is a great guy. Beyond Sight and Sound, tomorrow night, Saturday night at 8 p.m. on 1000 Mics.
And keeping with the Dig Wars theme, 2 weeks, I think, guys, 2 weeks. Mike Scott from First Texas Products and from Dig Wars will be here talking with us as well. But tomorrow night, tune in to Beyond Sight and Sound with Josh Kimmel and the Silva twins, Silva family.
Wow, we just took our calls coming in.
All right, and that one is going to caller number 10, Missy in Ohio.
Congratulations, Missy. PM your info to Drew Waholic and me, last resort, and we'll get it out to you ASAP.
Well, how about we see if any of these callers have questions?
Go ahead, Steve. Check them out.
Yeah, go ahead, take them.
Well, I guess that one didn't want to be on the air. All right, 703. How you doing tonight?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Good,
We're
good.
doing fine. We did the giveaway, but what are your thoughts on this new detector?
It's exciting. It's definitely the portability is pretty exciting. I definitely like to try one out.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not the only one. I can't wait to swing this thing because the claims that are made and the little bit of testing that we've done with the machine, I got to tell you, it's not a toy. It's a real metal detector.
Yes, it is. All right.
Well, I'm swinging the CTX right now, and I love it.
Absolutely.
So I'm definitely good with Minelab products, and it'd be good to have a secondary machine that you can load out to a friend that will do its job.
Exactly. Yeah, like I said, and tuck it away. If you're out without your Minelab and don't want to leave your Minelab alone in the truck, you got something small that's going to find you some targets, and you can store under the seat if you had to.
All right.
Wonderful. I think I had quite a bit of lag because I was trying to call in for the contest, but
all right, well, stay tuned, guys.
It's been a great show, guys.
We'll announce the next one, the last giveaway of the night. We'll announce it a little bit early, so you'll catch up with the delay.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Did you want to go ahead and do?
Yeah, we might as well. We might as well. We're already going
10:02.
pushing 20 minutes over, so let's go with the last one of the night, guys. We're giving away a Lesh Samson Mini, brand new in the bag, and this is compliments of the Marco Detector Sales, metaldetecting.com, and we'll throw in the patch with it. We'll throw in the Detect America patch with it, guys. Big prize for big night. So, area showing that there we got a brand new Lesh Samson Mini. 856-899-5180. Guys, we're taking
15
callers. 15 callers. Lines are open.
All right, here we go. 610. Who do we have?
TJ from South Coventry, PA.
All right.
How we like, guys? Best show ever.
Thanks, man.
All right. 908. Who do we have?
Donna from New Jersey.
All right, Donna.
330. Who do we have?
Jerry Heckman from Malvern, Ohio.
All right. 319. Who do we have?
This is Paul Walker from Iowa. Love your show. Please,
Paul, you're going to get a loyalty award, bud. You're going to get a dedication award.
All right. You want to add Chris Fast?
Go ahead, put Chris in there.
740. Who do we got?
I got Dave from Ohio.
All right. 706. Who do we got?
This is Matt from Georgia, Matt Kwiatkowski.
Hey, Matt.
857. Who we got?
Hey, guys. This is Alex in Boston.
All right. 903. Who do we got?
Warren from Texas.
All right. 740. Who do we got?
Hey, this is Bill, Zanesville, Ohio.
All right. 703.
Thank you.
703, who do we got?
Alicia from Virginia.
And guess who this is? Evan Granger. How you doing?
Hey.
Hello.
It's not Evan.
How are you?
All right. And what's your name, darling?
What?
What's your name?
Alicia.
Alicia in Virginia.
Alicia Granger.
Alicia from Virginia.
Are you clicking on the wrong call, Joe?
No, no. It's got Evan's picture. I got Evan's picture up there. All right.
All right, we got you, Alicia.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Four more.
4 more. So who's calling on Evan's line then?
I don't know. Click on it.
I've got it up.
What?
Yes, who is it?
Still Alicia.
It's Alicia. All right, thanks, Alicia. We got you.
All right.
Ashley Granger.
Ah, there she is.
All right. 814, who we got?
Kent Davis, Emporium, PA.
518, who do we got?
Rick from Illinois.
Rich from Illinois. Okay.
Gotcha, Rich.
How many more you got?
One more.
One more.
Last one right here. 870, who do we got?
Tim Durham, Arkansas.
Okay, that is our last caller.
Okay, now, while Drew is running on random.org, I have random.org up, and we gave away on TNL the other night a $10 Confederate note and got 419 responses, correct responses to the secret code that was hidden in the TNL show. The secret code was spring 2015. And 419 people responded correctly. So we are spinning on random.org with the 419 people in. By the way, here's the Confederate note. And the winner of the $10 Confederate note is Chris Detborn. Chris Detborn, congratulations, bud. You get the $10 CSA note. And PM your info to us, Chris. I know we've had it in the ranks before, but I'm not sure if we still have it after all the hullabaloo that went on last week. So
You know what? Actually, I got to say thanks to Chris sent me a Christmas gift this year, a red book for coins to add to my red book collection, and I still have the package from it with the return address on it. So.
Well, here's your thank you gift, Chris. Congratulations, bud. You got the Samson Mini. And PM your info to Drew, and we'll get that out to you ASAP. Congrats again. So
the Samson Mini.
I'm sorry, not the Samson Mini.
The Samson Mini goes to our multiple talk caller number 11, Alicia in Virginia.
Alicia in Virginia. Congratulations, Alicia, and congratulations, Chris, for the 10. You get the $10 note. Alicia in Virginia, you get the
Les Samson
Mini
and a patch. So make sure you PM me, Drew Waholic, your info so I can get that out to you.
I'm going to run that video one more time.
Which one?
The new machine. The new machine.
Wait a minute. Did it come up or did I do something wrong?
I hear it.
Yeah.
I won't know for like another
30
seconds.
Hold on, I did something wrong. Okay, so we're going to run this. Actually, we're going to run this on our way out, guys. So thank you for tuning in tonight. Detect America Live, big show, great news. Thanks out to Gary Schafer for calling in and launching the new Go Find on DA Live show. And we're going to play you out with a little bit of Go Find.